I think it's time to go live right about now. Hey, we're here. We're here.
Hello, everyone.
We out here. We are out here. I wonder if I should turn up my light a little bit.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Mamba, T-Dog,
Spanking time.
Nathaniel.
I'm so
Spanking time.
It's spanking time. Whoop whoop.
It's Monday yet again.
It's it's Monday.
Oh my goodness. It's a Monday again.
The joke's not the same without Corey. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Monday.
I mean, fuck it.
Fuck it, we're doing it live.
I mean, if it's gonna be you or me, or you and Corey, or Corey and me, or Caitlin and you, and fuck it, like
I
it's
feel
never
like we
gonna be
have
the same.
Tom, do we have low energy tonight? Do we have low energy? I feel like we have like a
No,
downtrodden.
I don't think low energy. Last week I would say I had a lot of low energy.
Yeah.
But to me, it's just it is what it is, and it's not like and to me, I'm just like, I'm gonna stop malazing about shit. It's gonna be like, it is what it is, baby. Like either the
Malazing.
French fries came in cold or they didn't. So who gives a shit?
Who, pop them in the air fryer for like 2 minutes.
Sticks, T-Dog.
French toast sticks. I'm
Are
jealous.
those like the like the boxed ones that you get from like the freezer section, and then you put them into the toaster, or is that like you made them French toast sticks? I have no idea what those are.
I'd like to point out that our donation goal / film fund is at $69.
Yeah, that's thanks to Raph.
I'm a child.
Pretty much.
Emotional damage.
Do you have emotional damage from that, Corey? From my utter revelation. Mamba, I'm very glad to hear you have questions, baby.
I have
Also,
questions.
I'm glad to see you on the stream. Hope you've been doing well, you and the fam. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you right now, my news is kind of bummer ass news, if anything. But it's not like I'll have low energy. I mean, the only way I would have better energy is if I don't work on
on a really hot day.
Yeah. I think there was more energy to be had when we were doing these on Sundays, but
when they're after a work day, it's a little bit here we are. We're doing the thing. It's the as Corey can tell, so you go to work and you come home and you got to work with a kid. It's like it's just work after work after work after work. So you're just like, it's a different form.
All right,
of
baby,
work.
let's go.
Yeah.
It's marathon hour.
I think I've said this before, where it's like between you and me, where it's like, you do all these things, you're marketing, you're doing all these things for your career and keep busy, but you still got to do the fucking laundry and dishes and like be an adult. Be an adult.
Well, I mean, some people, it depends how people do it, right? Some people do it where they do it after work. I don't know how the fuck you would do anything after work. I got to do it on a day. I got to do it on a day off. Like I spend a whole day.
It's a get shit done day.
Cleaning up everything, cooking all the food, and grocery shopping, all at the same fucking day. And it's just like, that's how you do it. That's how I do it, at least, where it's like, okay, cool. I've cooked for an entire week. I have an entire week's worth of food planned out. I have cleaned all the clothes. I have done all the shit. So it's like, everything like that. T-Dog, I'm glad you didn't have work today.
Nice.
I'm quite jealous. I had to do a half day. So
nice.
But Brad, hello. How
what
you
up,
doing, Brad?
How's it going?
I saw that you saw that you posted those Cartoon Network interstitial, is it bumps, the commercial bumps? I love those. Those were so fucking cool. Especially like during the summer, like the ones where they're all in the laundromat. Really good.
Yeah.
So we got. I mean, we don't gotta go right into the show. We both got like 2 topics, you and I.
Yeah. We're filling it in. I have a question. Okay. Nathaniel's putting in questions.
If you create a new mutant for the X-Men comic series, what would their power be, and why would it be significant to introduce them today? I'd introduce one that was Superman, because it's fucking impossible to do it all. because it's actually impossible. To save the day, be a good person to your significant other. Be a good
Daniel
person
keeps
to your
saying,
friends,
"Stop it, stop
your
it."
family. It's
Their power
impossible to
is
get
kindness.
all their shit done around the house, and then also be a hero. That's fucking.
Yeah.
It's a question for the episode. Okay.
Their
all right.
mutant power is being an adult, getting things
Yeah,
done.
okay. The back end of a depressive episode, the growth is starting to come back in little sprouts. Gotta get back to that bamboo stage, baby. Hey, baby. Not linear. Not linear. You know, it's got up and downs. It's got up and downs. If there's anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, shall we? Shall we just like? You want to do the thing?
We can't.
Oh, hey,
we
B-Rad's 30 now. Hey.
Oh yeah.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
belated.
Happy birthday.
I mean, we post about it on the Discord, but happy birthday on the chat.
Hell yeah.
On the chat is forever cemented.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Yes, cemented. Yeah. Let's. We can get it going. It's a toss up between you and me, I think.
I think it's me.
Sure.
I think. Let's do the thing. Let me get everything situated. Turn the brightness of my display down. Ooh, baby. Okay. Well, yeah, let's do claps for fun, because I don't want to forget that for, what is that, like 3 weeks in a row? So, this is Josh doing claps.
As Corey said, chlamydia. Is this changing colors? Okay, I think it's changing colors.
Waiting for B-Rad.
Yeah, okay, it's changing colors. I was like, what the fuck?
This is Boner.
This is Boner. There you go. Boner claps. Just
Boner
the way
claps.
that Ellie Kemper said it on.
Yay. Okay, so we're going to go to the intro, and we're going to come back, and we're live. And I'm starting it, so you'll know. I get, yeah, no, I know. So here we go, intro. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Nerd on Up Late. Wow.
Up late, you fucked it up already.
Wow. Wow.
Just like that.
Josh, you
chat.
had one
like,
job.
Don't fuck it up, Josh.
I never do.
Hey,
I never do.
Everyone, for the record, Josh never messes up the opening typically. I think
chaos.
The last time Josh messed up anything show related in terms of like the opening of was like a string of guest episodes where we never even said like this is the host of the show. We're just like, oh, welcome to Nerd On. This is our episode. I was like,
nice. Nerd On Up Late. This is a different show. Could you imagine? Wouldn't that be awesome? Like the Nerd On Up Late. Staying up late, everybody. We're having a slumber party. We're doing it. But anyway, here we are. This is the Nerd On Update, our weekly show in which we talk about the nerdy news that excited us, interest us, made us sad sometimes. And then the later half of the show in which we answer questions from you, the people. And I feel like I have gone first for several weeks, so I'm going to make Tom go first with his news.
so what's up, y'all? It wouldn't be a DC Tuesday if it wasn't the DC boy. It's so fucking stupid. Today, I have rather troubling news. I wouldn't even say it's sad. It's more just disappointing, if anything. But we got to talk about it. We got to talk about Kevin, starring Tilda Swinton, John C. Reilly, and Ezra Miller.
Ooh.
We got to talk about Ezra Miller, baby.
Okay.
They is in a lot of trouble. I was about to say boy, but they
okay.
Are
they identify as non-binary. Cool. I did not know that. So news to me.
They and them. So they's in a lot of trouble. They's be doing a lot of crazy shit. Allegedly, not allegedly, regardless, it's all bad PR. apparently he's got a girlfriend. They got a girlfriend, um, and the girlfriend isn't mad or held against their will. I have no idea. It for a while, for a few weeks, it was just consistently like something at Hawaii is happening. They threw a bar stool at somebody. They they attacked somebody or whatever, and it kind of got to the point where it was like all the charges kept getting dropped. So it was like, is this real, or is this just like
Yeah.
weird smear kind of stuff? Because there have been character assassinations done before. Typically, victims or survivors would probably be more high profile because even just thinking about in early memory of Amber Heard and Johnny Depp,
Yeah.
it's weird. It's just but that is the current state of it, where Ezra Miller is completely and fully in trouble with law enforcement to the point where
Oh,
they
wow.
have deleted their social media accounts.
Oh, shit. Wow.
And I think law enforcement is still looking for them. However, I believe their girlfriend has posted that they are in contact with law enforcement and everything is okay. So I don't know how that is all going. Anyways, the bottom line, quote unquote, for consumers and entertainment world, Ezra Miller is the kind of the face of two big IPs,
Yeah.
in a sense, for the Flash, and then also Secrets of Dumbledore.
Yeah.
And that doesn't seem like that's going to be a thing anymore.
Nope.
Officially, Warner Brothers has stated that they will no longer want to work with Ezra Miller, for they have caused a lot of hassle and trouble, and all they really want is hopefully the legal troubles will lessen. I'm like, lessen, which is wild.
Oh my goodness.
I actually think they need medical attention, probably. Maybe there's
Medical
something
and
just going
psychological.
on. Psychological, medical, whatever it needs, get them help, because apparently there's some going on. Secondly, moving off of that, more big drama from the DC dive bro boy. And that's with the Spider-Man Lotus. Does anyone know what that is?
I don't,
It's a
but you're going to
fan-
tell me because I need
yeah,
it.
it's a fan film that was like, it had huge success on Kickstarter. A full feature film, like I think like 80 some odd pages.
Oh,
Spider-Man
damn.
Lotus. They had cast there. They had Green Goblin. They had a bunch of different characters from the Spider-Man universe that I don't really know, but you could, if you look it up, if you look up Spider-Man Lotus, you can probably see pictures of Wayne Ward, I think his name, or Warden Wayne, who is the actor, and they got in trouble over the weekend for racial
Seems like
stuff.
there's a
Or maybe
lot
it
of
was last
trouble.
weekend.
There's a lot of trouble
And,
going on.
And then the creator of it got in trouble because leaks of their Instagram DMs came out, and they're just racist. It's just racism.
Oh my god.
It's just everywhere. It's just bad. It's just and a lot of people were really kind of cheering for this because it was like almost like the most legitimate fan film of all time. That's what it was turning out to be. The suit looked really cool.
Yeah, I'm looking at
and
pictures.
everyone's
That
really
look pretty
excited about
dope.
everyone's really excited about the cast and all that stuff, and a lot of people were actually rooting for this to fail. So I mean, today they get to smile, which is unfortunate because it is sad that people just want to see something crash and burn, like it's Morbin time. But yeah, that just it's just sucking. People are like leaking the script. People are just yeah, there's just apologies left and right. Certain people are like, when Joss Whedon got kind of like, all right, news is out. Does Bruno Mars is gay, like level like that level of like headline of like, oh god, Joss Whedon's in trouble now. Um, and all these journalists, all these comic book journalists that shat all over Zack Snyder were like, oh, uh, oh, I never knew Joss Whedon was like that. And I was like, you hung out with him all the time. You were in his camp all the time. So it's just one of those things where it's like, now a lot of people will be like, oh, like everyone who was associated with Weinstein, where it's like Kevin Smith, where it's like, my entire career goes to Weinstein, but like him and I haven't talked in like 10 years. So it's kind of one of those like you got to check those receipts kind of moments, and it is wild. Yeah. I'm gonna answer this little quick thing from the
Just
chat.
to enliven it a little bit.
Yeah, bad reprint. Ass boy. Speaking of comics and controversy, any thoughts on Miles Morales Thor? I think it was a what if. And there's a few people who are like, yeah, and then there's a lot of people who are black who are like, what the fuck? And for me, as a not black person, I'm probably gonna go with that because if someone is going to be representing black people,
Oh yeah,
it's more likely
I
black
see.
people. And if they're like, yo, you can't say, like, I don't know if you saw, but like me,
I've just
it's
seen like a
Miles
couple
Morales
of like what if
stills.
images or stills. Yeah.
And but you hear like all so you could read it. You could read some of the stills.
Yeah.
And there's a
I'm
moment where
looking
it
right now,
definitely
yeah.
says Miles Morales says by it's like normally you say by Odin's beard, but then it's like by Odin's fade, and it's like you can't just like urbanize or blackify.
Yeah.
I'm using quotes.
Well, I mean,
to make
it's like
Asgardian
audition.
pastiche.
It's like voiceover auditions that would say like urban. You're like,
Yeah.
guys.
Or
Guys.
when they want a Hispanic person, like, could you make it a caliente?
Yeah.
It's like, oh
Wow.
my god. So it's look, I don't think people again go out to try to make something bad, but I do think there are such things as being tone deaf.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's hard when you're trying to have a diverse story or trying to do something cool, and then you kind of accident. The best way I can think about it is like Quentin Tarantino, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Did he intentionally want to make it look like this is a racist moment against Bruce Lee? No, probably not. But does it come out that way? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And that's just unfortunate. I mean, people are to T-Dog, isn't that cultural appropriation? People who are defending it are calling out that Miles Morales, who is black and Hispanic, is created by a guy named Brian Michael Bendis, who's a white guy. So it's like, can't can me as an Asian guy create a black character? I don't have the answer to that right now. Do I want to create a comic book character who's supposed to be this icon of representation? It's a heavy crown. It's a heavy crown, heavy burden, whatever it is.
You best be ready.
It's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
Like, a small tangent to right now, and then I'll move on to Josh. It's hard just even talking about like storytelling and filmmaking, because a lot of people look to me and be like, unfortunately, it's a lot of like white people who are like, Tom, you have to have an Asian story, the story about your experience in America. And I'm just like, I grew up in California, baby. The only thing was different is I took off my shoes in the house. I watched the same shows that y'all watched. I played Pokemon. I saw the craze of that shit. Cindy Crawford was a hot woman with the mole and beauty mark, whatever that. James Bond was a thing. But like, it's like you got to do this, and it's tough when you're kind
like,
of,
guys, what does that mean?
I mean, but like that's the thing. Like Mark Bernardin, who's one of the co-hosts of Batman Beyond, Fat Man Beyond, he like kind of like gave way to Miles Morales with an article that he wrote for the Hollywood Reporter, asking like, shouldn't Peter Parker be black now? And that gave Brian Michael Bendis like enough inspiration to think of a black Spider-Man for the Ultimate Universe and based it off of Donald Glover. But it's like, how it all lies into it. It just, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an interesting place for comic movie lovers and comic readers and people who just are seeing the news. So,
Yeah.
Josh.
Yeah, my news. I mean, I'll just continue on my second topic because we're talking about comic books. I don't know about you, but when I was young, I would save up any sort of money that I made, like mowing lawns or whatever the F, and I would buy Goosebumps. The Scholastic Book Fair would come in, and I would buy Goosebumps. Goosebumps and Legos, but Goosebumps. So R.L. Stine was a major part of my childhood. Well, it was announced this past week that he has a horror comic coming from Boom Studios. And he's like, I finally get to let my scary side really come out. Said, kids, this is not for kids. So, I mean, the only thing that I've been able to see, it comes out in September. I've seen some of the cover art, which is pretty cool. One of the covers will be by one of the original artists for Goosebumps, Jacobus. Tim Jacobus. It's a pretty cool looking. You can look at it and go, that's totally a Goosebumps cover. And some of it's a little creepy, really cool looking. But yeah, so I'm excited about it as somebody who likes horror comic books. I'm totes ready for it. Josh is always young. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Mama. Sweet baby Josh. He be out here. But yeah, R.L. Stine had a horror comic book. Oh yeah, and it's called Stuff of Nightmares. R.L. Stine's Stuff of Nightmares. And I guess it's going to be like a retelling of iconic monsters. Like I believe the first one is a retelling of the tragedy of Frankenstein. So should be fun. And then also, this news came at me in our Discord. Only Murders in the Building. Season 2 trailer dropped this past week. And again, another like callback, like nostalgia from growing up. I was so drawn at first, season 1, to Steve Martin and Martin Short. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this. And watching it, I mean, Bonnie and I just love the show, and so excited to see a trailer. It was already announced in I think it was September or October that it was getting a second season, and different people have been joining the cast, and it looks like it's going to be fun. I loved it. So yeah. What'd you say, Tom?
I haven't watched it, but it was something I really was interested in. Martin Short, right? Martin Short,
Yeah.
He was definitely someone that I really loved as a kid, especially because of A Simple Wish. But yeah, it seemed fun. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but since I'm in the middle of Good Place right now, and so my first time watching it, I'm like, oh, this feels kind of in that same vein where it's like a very cool, unique concept on TV done in a very quirky but charming way.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, it's also, I think that, to be perfectly honest, the first episode, hard to watch isn't the right term. It was a style of comedy that I think it was like a kind of an old style of comedy, because you do have Steve Martin and Martin Short, and you have these like legends of comedy kind of doing what they do. And yeah, so anyway, I enjoyed it. I think people should give it a chance. At least a few episodes. I think Selena Gomez and the trio really have great chemistry on screen, so it's a lot of fun. But that is the
Also,
end. Yeah.
Just to add to that, it's also just kind of cool to see Selena Gomez transition into this portion of her career, especially during the initial shutdown of everything. I watched her cooking show on HBO Max.
Yeah.
And her having lupus was a big portion of the show, just because like I have to stay home with my family so that I can be taken care of and all that stuff. And like seeing that she's having this life there, being able to act in this way, especially coming from Wizards of Waverly Place as a Disney Channel star, and then becoming a pop sensation with music. I don't know exactly all the drama, the big drama
The
with
drama.
all the dating escapades.
Yeah.
Not like saying there's escapades or anything like that, but no, I'm very happy to see that she's like, oh, she's
Yeah, and
acting with these two
she
like
lends
legends.
I was sorry. Yeah, she does well with, like you were saying, legends. Like she holds her own, and she's it's like when you see somebody like well, now I'm blanking on his name, Thor in MCU, Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth.
Kind of like everybody kind of going, wow, he has great comedy chops. You know, it's like, oh wow, this person is funny. Oh, okay, this is great, and it's great to see that with these people that are legends. So, shall we move to the next part of the show?
We shall.
Well, we're doing it. Okay, everybody. This is the next part of our show in which we answer questions from you, the people. And if you would like to submit questions, there are so many ways that I made a page on our website. You can go to nerdon.tv/questions, and you can submit those questions. Thank you, T-Dog. He put the link in the chat. My favorite way for you to submit questions is to join the Discord, nerdon.tv/Discord, and there are channels in there to submit questions. And my absolute favorite way to submit questions is to join the Nerdon Nation, powered by Patreon, nerdon.tv/Patreon. You get to support us, and I'll be perfectly honest, it helps us. It really does help us. It keeps us going. It keeps us upgrading content and making more content, like the short film that's coming soon. Soon-ish.
Do it now.
Do
It's
it now.
payday.
Also,
Okay.
donations. There is a donation button below. You can do that. It's helpful. I'll just be a human here and say it is helpful. We get to keep doing the thing. But let's answer questions. First question comes from, open the tab, Josh. There it is. Spencer, 13H. What is the video that always makes you laugh?
And they had some good examples in our Discord where they asked those questions.
Yeah, I saw the other question. I was like, ooh.
So this one, it was they had the Wicked Witch of the East, bro, grow up. A parakeet saying or a parrot saying what the fuck, and then a Gaston one, which I have not watched.
Mhm.
I thought I was gonna do the first one up top, but there's a particular reason why I'm like, we'll answer that question when we can get Corey on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, what video always makes you laugh?
I actually have 3 that are tied. They're just they make me laugh every single time. There was a trend a few years ago that was auto-tune the news, that kind of thing. And the same channel, I believe it was the same channel, they auto-tuned and made a beat out of this guy's Five Guys review. And it was damn, damn, damn. And every time I see it, it makes me laugh. Old school, Charlie the Unicorn. I just always have you seen Charlie the Unicorn? You gave me
Charlie the Unicorn.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
And then a more modern one is where there's this cat that somebody comes in. They got the camera coming towards the cat, and they kind of pan down, and the cat makes a noise, and it sounds like it's going, "Oh hi."
Oh,
And it's just every time, sometimes when I need a giggle, I'll find that video. It just makes me laugh. Oh hi.
For me, seeing some best of compilation clips of Eric Andre's show.
Mhm.
Just seeing him do dumb shit does a lot for me. Like him having Lauren Conrad in the show and throwing up and then eating up the throw up, or kicking Flava Flav in the face, or going to the White House and then shaking the bars like "Let me in, let me in." Or he does a prank where he's taking a picture and he's like, "That's beautiful." No matter what they say, that's beautiful. It's don't let anyone say that. And someone walks by and he pulls the camera away and he's like a cyclops. That gets me. Another video that always gets me. That always makes me laugh. I used to really like fail compilations.
Oh, yeah.
Not like brutally like dangerous stuff, but like there's like a guy. It's a professional soccer event, and like how like if you were cool, you can throw if the ball went out and you're throwing it back in. You can like handstand and then rotate and then throw it on the flip back.
Hmm.
Someone does that and right into another player's face, and it's just like, oh my god.
Oh, I feel like that was
But
like
it's
a
just like,
thing too, where it was just like that's why you find like fail compilations where it was just like
oh, yeah.
there's a certain amount of Schadenfreude of like watching somebody like skateboard stuff, X game crashes, like you're like I shouldn't find any joy in this at all, except for you're watching and you're like, oh, that's bad.
I mean, yeah, but when they get back up, like like I have to make sure they get up. If they don't get up, I'm like, oh no, I don't even want to imagine.
Oh no.
But one that I really like, I really like seeing I like Graham Norton bits.
Oh, I love Graham Norton.
Good,
Yeah.
yeah, good old Graham Norton bits like Jamie Foxx explaining his forecast song with Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Hiddleston doing impersonations of Graham Norton.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great Graham Norton stuff.
Yeah, because he gets what I love about his show too is that you get sometimes they're deep cuts where like even the guest is like, how do you know that? Like, where did you find my original headshots? Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, what? Yeah.
Seeing some Arnold Schwarzenegger stuff like that always makes me kind of like giggle. It's like seeing him now. Old Schwarzenegger is like so entertaining to watch. Like him on James Corden, and I hate the James Corden show.
Yeah.
Is pretty entertaining. But just an old man who's just this mega star, and he's just like, now I'm a governor, and it's pretty great. Seeing impersonations, I think I like seeing a lot of impersonations.
Yeah.
That makes me typically smile a lot. All right,
I like watching Nerd on the podcast on YouTube. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, you're the one.
You're the one. You're the one. That'd be kind of sad. Well, that is that question. Moving to the next question, Dr. Wonka. I'll go ahead and make this a two-part question since they're closely related. First, what's the strangest theory you've heard about what happens to us after we die? Second, religious outcomes or otherwise, what do you think would happen to society if we found undeniable proof of what actually does happen after death? I think the weirdest that I've ever heard is that when you die, aliens come and take your body. It's like we're an alien race, and this was just like a
Escape from Witch Mountain?
Escape from Witch Mountain. Is that what that is?
That's the original one. The original one was that everyone in the world is a twin.
Oh,
Everyone has a twin.
I
and
did
then
not.
everyone needs to get to the top of the mountain.
There it
so
is.
that the alien comes in. And
Yeah,
then,
I think it's
and then, like,
Scientology. I think it's Scientology. It's
it's
creepy
an
AF.
alien.
An
that's
alien
like,
comes
look, you
down. An
found
alien
your-
being
you found
comes.
your-
Yeah, an alien being comes and takes your essence or whatever, and you go off to the chosen land or whatever. And that's my question or my answer. No, we'll answer this in steps. What's yours?
Okay. I mean, I have not heard a lot of crazy theories of what happens after we die. Like,
Mm-hmm.
again, it's all relative, right? Like me saying that, like, oh, reincarnation. You like if you did bad, you come back as a caterpillar and you fucking die really quickly because you are such a piece of shit that you don't have an ability.
Because your life expectancy isn't that long, dude.
Well, like the whole idea about like reincarnation is that like you have to build up karma, right? So like being a human is like technically the best thing because you have a quote unquote long span of life and the most options to create good karma, which will allow you to like hopefully maybe leave the mortal plane of existence and just go to heaven or enlightenment, wherever the hell it wants you to go, which will be like releasing you from like suffering in the mortal coil, right? But then if you're a piece of shit, then you like get reincarnated as like a caterpillar and you're like, well, shit, I got like 3 days to live. And you're like, I can't do much good out of this. And so it's this idea of like, reincarnation, right? So like to me, if
Yeah.
that's the weird thing, then maybe that's the weirdest thing you've ever heard. To me, I think the craziest weird thing I've ever heard, and again, it's not even that crazy or weird. It's just like that's very interesting. Is that when you die, you're born again as a new baby.
Mm.
And that's
So
why
it's
you're
just like a
crying
loop.
because you're like
And it's like,
you're
yeah.
sad that your last life ended, and that's why we have dreams or where the hell. That's why we have personalities already, blah blah,
Yeah.
instilled in us. And I'm like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah. What's the second part?
Second, religious outcomes or otherwise, what do you think would happen to society if we found undeniable proof of what actually does happen after death? I mean, I think that it would change society in some way. Like even Corthaniel in the chat, I mean, they've said that they believe when you die, that's it. So if we found undeniable proof, people would appreciate the time that they were given. Yeah, if we found that's it, your body's done, you're done. I think people would probably appreciate life if there was some sort of celestial place or whatnot. I have a feeling that I don't know. I think maybe more society would go towards a like, okay, how do I build my life towards that? Or I don't know. I don't know, man.
I think otherwise.
Yeah. It wouldn't change a damn thing.
Let's go with the hypothetical.
Yeah.
Let's say, like, if people found out that undeniably, when you die, that's it. There would be 100% a faction of people, a loud faction of people who would be like, no, there has to be another.
Yeah.
Just
there would still be
because-
people that would just like, no.
Not even saying like heaven, not even saying heaven or hell, but just
There's another option.
There's another option, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I agree with it, but to me, it's like literally, the Earth is a globe.
Oh, you've met those
somehow-
people, right? You've met those people that are like, you give them the facts and they're like, no.
I mean, it doesn't even matter if I've met them, but within like the understandable zeitgeist of like the internet and all that stuff, there are people who doubt that the Holocaust exists, like, or existed. There are people who will say that, Vietnam, like there are probably a legit, people who think that a certain war is going on still, right? Or who are oblivious to the war. Whether the fact is out there, like, let's say it is undeniable that, the planet climate is changing. There are going to be people who are going to find every other alternate way to say that it's not, or to say that we don't have to do anything about it. Or to say like, okay, cool, undeniable sense that we're when we die, we die. Someone, even bright, positive-minded people are going to be like, but we should try to see if we can explore that world, that understanding, like understanding more of our planet, or understanding like how babies think, or like could we manipulate certain things in that sense, or okay, if the end is there, then how do we get it to where we never end? And it's like that's what I think. If like, even if when we have those things, it probably wouldn't change too much, because there's going to be there's the vast amount of diverse knowledge and information being exchanged at all times. People are always going to try to subvert or change.
And there's a lot of people in this world. There's a lot of people, so everybody can have their own beliefs, and there's
Well, like dinosaurs are extinct. There are motherfuckers out there who are like, but what if we brought them back though? Where it's like,
yeah.
Sure. If you want, if you got the money and the grant money to do that shit, sure, and it helps us out somehow. But it's like, okay, if we die, we die. But what if we don't? And it's like, okay, sure.
There's always going to be that guy that's like, but what if we don't? No, I have proof. There's proof. But what if we don't?
Which is, to me, a net zero of like what it is now. Of like, there is quote unquote no undeniable proof, or there is undeniable proof that currently that's like, we have no way to observe anything that happens in the afterlife or after you die, other than your body is disintegrating into the ground. And yet even then we're like, but how do we become immortal? And you're like, all right, well, I guess.
I don't know. Okay. Next question.
Next question.
Next question comes from T-Dog. Do you think you could stop what you're doing and do 25 push-ups?
Absolutely. Every damn day of the week.
Wow. I mean, I think so. I think I could.
Every day. I every day.
Every
I
day you're
do it in my
hustling?
sleep. I eat that shit for breakfast.
Every day you're hustling? I think so.
Sure.
I think I could.
Sure. I could do it. I could do it. I mean, I've been waking up and doing push-ups all the time. If I do it right now, you will have no proof that I did it. You'll have no,
It's true.
everyone in the chat like, go do it. I'm like,
I'm not even wearing pants right now, and I can't show that.
And then I'll do this, and I'm like, I did.
All
it.
you'd have to do, just 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, there's no actual proof at all.
Josh,
But,
you what? I'm not even wearing pants right now. No, that's not true. I'm wearing pants. I'm not wearing
You're
shoes.
wearing shorts.
Yeah, I'm wearing shorts. I'm not wearing shoes. It's barefoot, so we can't show that on stream. So
It's too hot, too sexy.
it is too hot.
Too
Like
sexy,
even
y'all.
like it's too hot. Tom knows this studio.
It is hot. It's hot as hell today in LA.
Just go there and do it. No, I don't have to.
No.
No.
T-Dog is turning to like army sergeant over
Yeah.
here.
Bitch,
acting as if
get
I
over
haven't
there
been
and
in
do it.
ROTC before. That's what I'm saying. Like I used to do that all the time, where it's like, wake up, do 50 push-ups. Wake up,
Yeah.
do 50 push-ups, or go to bed, do 50 push-ups.
I mean, I think I can. I'm not going to say that it would be easy. I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke, but it would probably be hard. I'm out of shape
I've
right
lost
now.
weight too, so it's gonna be a
Yeah.
lot easier for me.
This is a lot of bands to lift and do gravity pushes. Like they're just too. There's a lot of mans here. A lot of mans.
I'll say it this way, T-Dog, to answer that question. Also, what the fuck? I mean, like, am I posing out more fucking masculinity shit? I was like, I could even probably do close to 20 pull-ups.
Yeah.
But like,
Pull-ups are the bane of my existence.
I did it. And
Yeah. Pull-ups are the bane of my existence. Like I went from doing. I think that I just needed like some time off, because I went from like, I think for like a good like year, I pretty much did cardio every single day, because I have an elliptical, and I was like, well, that was like one of my like pandemic things that I did, because I was like, I gotta do something. I've gotta do something. And also with like not drinking alcohol, like I had to like, you like replace habits, and that's what I did. But I took a break like from March until today. Like today I did my cardio, but I'm so out of shape.
I would say if anyone's listening who's ever interested into like physical fitness or just even just regular wellness, pull-ups is probably the best workout you could do, or the best exercise thing you could do. Everyone's like, oh, push-ups and crunches and blah blah and all that. Who gives a shit? Fuck. Like if push-ups are cool because you're like carrying your own body weight, and that's important. But like pull-up, like to me, that's like a survival technique.
Yeah.
That is like,
That's gonna lift you up
need
off
to
the
pull
cliff.
yourself over a fence
Yeah.
or hop a thing and all that stuff. Like that's important. Sprinting is probably more important than long distance running, but they're both healthy. But that's all I'll say on that. I'm not a trained, certified anything.
Yeah.
I've just done a lot of wanting to be physically fit, and realized in the long run what actually matters in terms of like your overall wellness and stuff like that is probably just endurance to do it. So being able to just probably work out for like 2 hours straight,
Yeah.
taking like little 1 to 2 minute breaks here and there, but like keeping that heart rate up for 2 hours, that's probably the most important thing you could do, just because it's overall health.
I mean, I think I've told you, because we would go to the gym. There was like a hot second in the world where you and I went to the gym together, and being fit and being like feeling that drive
That
to
pump.
that drive to be fit and whatnot is really hard for me. It's really hard to get to a place of like even the ability to, and I've it's just been my entire life. Like I had to work really hard to do it, like to like even get any sort of inspiration to do it. And so it's like I wish I was like, and I think it's like a surrounding too of like what you surround yourself with, even like growing up with like that kind of thing. You know, the only time that I really started, like, I did track and field, and the only reason why I did it was because my friends did it. And it was just like, you know, one of my best friends, when I was doing CrossFit for like 2 years, I got really fit, but it was because one of my friends was going.
I mean, for me, the only reason I like going to the gym is actually because I get to do it alone. Like I never wanted to play sports as a kid. My dad tried to get me into sports. I tried joining sports because I'm like, all right, my friends are doing it, let's try it. And I hated it. I hated every aspect of it because it was such this aspect of um like, oh, you have to keep up with everyone around you, don't be the last one there, and they're only going to be as strong or as weak or as fast as you are. And it's just kind of like I hated that shit where like going to the gym by myself, like sucking it up a little bit of being like, I'm a wimpy looking piece of shit, like, you know, like just fighting myself and having negative self-talk. But going there by myself, being like,
your body dysmorphia always cracks me up.
but like going in there and then like just doing it by myself, being like, okay, I'm pushing myself. I'm not pushing anyone else. No one's pushing me. I could definitely, and when I look at other people, it's not to be like, oh, I wish I could be like them. Of course, there's a little bit of that, but it's like, oh, that's a cool exercise, and that's probably working out a muscle that I want to work out.
Yeah.
And then I get to do it on my own. And there was always this sense of like I'm self-discovering who I am and pushing myself, that I enjoyed. But like to your point, I hate the idea of like going and doing it with other people sometimes, because it's like that level of like, oh, we're competing, oh, someone's doing something on someone else's time.
I wish I got it.
Like,
I wish I understood it, because I like, even just being like what you were just saying, like, oh, I'm pushing myself, but I'm not trying to discount you at all, you know that. My brain goes, why? Like, why do I need to? Why would I want to? Why? Like,
I would in some ways I would say it's probably a mental health thing for me too, just because it's like a level of like control.
Yeah.
You know, like not to get too triggery or anything like that, but like levels of control is really important, especially if you feel like you're kind of spinning out. But like being able to like, cool, I'm controlling this, and like I can push this weight and I could do that. Like there is something that I think that happens with me where like in most of, like, you know, as we're talking about in the entertainment world, like you can do something, you can make something, you can put it out there, and it's up to other people to watch it or to care about it or to put time in and invest money into it or whatever. You can't control that shit. But what you can control is like, is this 10 pounds or is this 5 pounds?
yeah.
And like, I put 5 pounds, and it's like,
Yeah.
I lift it up 10 times, and it's like, cool, I can control one more pound, I can control another pound.
Yeah, it's the
Is that
endorphins
too heavy?
too.
That's too heavy.
It's the
Huh?
endorphins. Like I know that my day, mentally speaking, mental health wise, my day will be better if I work out. Just from just how I feel. Just because of the endorphins that I get from even just 30 minutes of exercise.
Well, even just a normal hike or a walk, like that just chemically does a lot for you, because your blood is pumping up, your heart's pumping new blood and all that stuff, and you're breathing more oxygen than you normally would. You know, if you live much more of a sedentary life, like how we've all been in the last 3 years, it's very easy to just be like, I mean, to me, I am not like a in any way a picture ideal of like health and fitness, but like I've definitely become much more sedentary, and I was just like, well, everyone else is doing, so I won't feel bad if I don't do shit for today. But like for the last few, you know, months, I've, you know, doing the boxing thing has been a complete change, and you know, trying to eat healthy and all that stuff. All this stuff has just changed, and also to me, it's
Yeah.
just like I've never done it. I might as well try it. Like I learned how to jump rope. I just learned how to jump rope because I'm like, I never felt confident about jump roping. So, I felt like you know, just trying that out and then doing that for like 10 minutes straight, and apparently that's enough to like be equivalent to running for 2 miles. I was like, meh, that's a good time killer. So I'm like, all right, I'll just do
time
that.
killer.
I mean, you know, like instead of running for 2 miles, which is very like, running is so healthy, it's stupid. Like it destroys your knees, but it's so stupidly healthy for you.
Yeah,
and I hate
cardiovascular, just like metabolism.
I hate running. I completely hate running. Like if I could just lift weights all the time, I would. I would totally want to lift weights, but I just know, again, it's survivability. It's all just about zombie apocalypse. Can you outrun them? Can you hop over?
I have good
fence? At the end
endurance,
of
so
the
I
day-
usually I can run for. That was one of the things that was one of my strengths on the track team was I had good endurance. We've spent a long time answering this one question. Tom, I'm
Yeah.
sure you have other questions.
Yes, let's do that. Let's answer some other questions. The first question came from Corthaniel. I have a question. If you're to create a new mutant for the X-Men comic series, what would their power be and why? If at all, would it be significant to introduce them today? You know, there's a lot of mutants.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of mutants out there that a lot of people don't know.
Mm-hmm.
There's one that I really like called Trauma. And that dude, he could literally just bring other people's nightmares to life.
Wow.
And I'm like, that's a really cool one because his story would be talking about like how people don't deal with their issues.
Yeah.
You know? And then he unfortunately his power makes them come real. He was featured in the new Avengers initiative where War Machine is training a new team of Avengers after the Civil War event, and I really liked him. But in terms of a new mutant, completely,
I mean, I haven't read a lot of mutant stuff, but I was just inspired by the one that you just mentioned, like because I feel like in the wrong hands it could be very dangerous, but I think in the right hands it could be very strong, or it could be very good. Is that somebody could? This is gonna sound so bullshit. Somebody that made you feel good about yourself, like felt confident, like you just like.
oh,
You just
like
you felt confident, and like in the wrong hands that could be bad. That could be really bad.
in Twilight, one of the vampires, Jasper, he was a Civil War guy, and his power was charisma.
Yeah, it was. No, I know because I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, I mean that's a thing where you can control people's emotions. That's really
Yeah.
cool. But for me, if I could make a new mutant, what would it be and would it be important? I feel like I don't know. It's hard. It's very hard. Because right now, honestly, a really good X-Men series to watch is probably season 4 of Young Justice. Because God bless that show, like
God
it was
bless.
it was practically an X-Men series. I was like, wow. Because I mean, to me, an X-Men, right? Like the cool thing about X-Men is that like they're normal people.
Yeah.
And they have these gifts, and they're treated like they're less than human, right?
Yeah.
And so if I can have a character like Trauma, right, or like your character that is important, I would want them to be in the X-Men storyline series to also still reignite the storytelling of the X-Men, right? Of like talking about marginalized people or people who are being attacked or targeted in a way where it's important. And the only thing I could kind of think about right now, it's almost like I almost want to pick like a Darwin. A Darwin is a character who can't die, like the Darwinian evolution, right? But like not really like that. Almost like a changeling, like a character who almost has like every who can like it's like Mystique, I guess, but like they don't necessarily have like
A limitation.
an actual form.
Yeah.
Because I'd want it to tie into like something like a race story with them, or an ethnicity story where like they, I guess, morph. Yeah, I don't know. Like Mamba's mentioning morph because to me, the cool thing was seeing in Young Justice was seeing like the white and green Martians having racial problems, and you're like, this is a story about race. But like, talking about a mutant character that kind of like is put in the middle of this, our America's race conversation right now of what does it mean to have control and power and wealth and success, and like but it's hard because it's tied in with history, so it's like it's not really just a genetics thing. But I'm like, I don't know what else is important to the X-Men lore that would be doing in that way. Um, other than like, yeah, a character that can change people's mental states like yours is actually very, very cool and very important
Because I
to
feel
feel.
like that's
Obviously, we're
sometimes that's what. Yeah, if you yeah, I mean, yeah. Even if I like the idea of like making somebody feel good about themselves, but it's like it is obviously you would use it as a power for either good or evil, like because you could egg somebody on and or whatever, or you like whether that is to do something bad or something good, but somebody who a person that can fucking Jasper. If you can change somebody's emotions, I mean, you can control a whole situation. Like you can control many things, because oftentimes even people will say that hate is spawned by fear, and like those kinds of things where you change the emotions that people feel. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, there's one little comic strip that I do like that it shows this person, right? This like whole person and these like all these people who are having all these different problems in their life, and this comic kind of goes through and sees that whole person kind of like go to each person and try to like absorb their negativity or like their problems, and by the end of the day they're like filled with it and everyone else is kind of better for it. That'd be kind of cool, like
Yeah.
in that in a way where like not like yours where they're able to control it, but like they're able to absorb people's like everything, all their ailments, maybe even their sicknesses, and they can't
Little Dorian Gray.
they don't
Dorian, right?
die, they don't die ever, but like was it Dorian Gray?
I think it's Dorian Gray.
I don't know. But yeah, that could be cool. But again, it can be a regular character because you have to imagine in the in the Marvel comic book universe, like a quarter of the population in the entire world is a mutant. So it's like there's already one out there. Is it Dorian Gray?
I believe it's Dorian Gray. Yeah, he had
Oh, okay, I
he had
thought
a
you liked
picture that all of his ailments. I don't know the story completely, but yeah, any of his ailments, they would go into this paint. I don't know the story. It had to do with like he was basically perfect, but it was because he had like there was a supernatural reason for this, and I believe it was a picture that he put his ailments in. And like it's a self.
He has a soul in a painting.
Yeah, and it's like the picture of him. It's a self portrait, and the self portrait just looks terrible. Like it has all of these ailments that he has put onto it. I forget there was a recent show.
And Ben Barnes was Dorian Gray,
Yeah.
and he was a villain.
Yeah, sometimes they oftentimes he is put into the world of like he's one of the classic monsters sometimes.
Oh.
I think he was also a character in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. There was like a version of him in the recent Sabrina show series.
That was him in freaking League of Extraordinary Gentlemen? Oh my god, I have to rewatch that movie. I have to rewatch that movie again. I don't remember that at all.
Next question.
Next question. Black Diablo Mamba question. With the announcement of the new Trigun remake, I think, do you feel like remaking classic anime shows like Yu Yu Hakusho would bring a new audience, or should it remain untouched to keep its style and originality? Well, to answer that question, for me, the only reason I watched Hunter x Hunter was through the remake, and the remake was made not even that much longer after the original show. I think the original show was like 2006, or no, it was actually in the 80s. And then the new one was in 2011, which is still technically an old anime. And I think the style is fine, but with new art style, with new animation, it's really beautiful and it lends itself to further adaptation. I think I for sure talked about this in our Jeff Nimoy episode when I was like, I think Trigun's up for a remake, and then he was like, as long as I get to live.
Yeah, I mean that's the caveats for me. I think that I think even for me, like as somebody who did not experience it growing up, having an anime that's remade or whatever, it's like there is a certain social contract so to speak. When something's popular, it's like, even as a voice actor, where it's like, oh, this is popular, I'm going to watch it, as to even just a character study or an acting study. And it's like, and then you go, oh shit, this is a remake. Oh, I'm going to watch the original. And it's like, oh shit, this is like Trigun specifically. It's like, you know, you mentioned Trigun and people are like, oh shit, Trigun, that kind of thing. And the caveat is like, if you can, bring the originals back. Bring the original actors. I mean, and that's me speaking for Jeff.
I haven't seen any of the new Yu Hakusho remake at all. I don't think it's out yet. I just looked up some images, but like, not even Yu Hakusho, just like Digimon, Evangelion, Shaman King, Sailor Moon. There's been a lot of remakes of the original animes. And it's tough because with that, I was someone that grew up with those animes, and I didn't care too much about watching a remake. So I feel like if it brings in a new audience, that's cool.
Yeah, and also as
but
long
there's
as
a lot of hype.
Yeah, I was
There's
just
a lot of hype.
Yeah, as long as it's done right, a lot of hype.
Okay. There's just a lot of hype for it, but then I don't think a lot of follow up. It's kind of like, news. Guy Ritchie is going to be doing the new Hercules movie, right? For Disney.
Yeah.
Everyone's blowing their mind. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, this is going to be great." Blah blah. This is my fan cast. I was like, "Motherfucker, none of y'all even give a shit about Aladdin. Don't even act like you care about Guy Ritchie directing Hercules. You just care about a live action Hercules." So it's like, don't, you know what I mean? Like,
don't do that.
To me, it's like when people are like, "Oh my god, all Alan Wake 2." It's like, motherfucker, none of you even play Alan Wake 1. Like, don't even tell me you're excited about a game that you've never even fucking played. Like, there is, to your point, a social contract of people. Like, I like that you offer the lens of at least, like, you know, if you're acting and you have the potential for a job for it, of course you want to watch either the original one to probably prep for the new show.
Yeah.
But just in general consumerism, there's so much baked in audience shit all the time that a lot of the baked in audience also don't follow up on. I think there's this, again, oversaturation and utter malaise that people have, and it's just like,
that's the second time you used that word tonight, and I like it. Huh? Malaise. That's the second time you've used malaise tonight, and I like it.
It's not deep frustration or depression. It's just like, it's just like a temperature. It's just malaise out there.
It's malaise. I'm gonna put a little malaise on that. Next question.
Next question.
Two more.
Yep, we'll do these last two. These ones from T-Dog. For the worst job you've ever had.
Worst job.
I could go.
Yeah, do it.
My first job is my worst job, and that was a pyramid scheme. Pay in cash, newspaper sales guy, door to door. I was 17. And I wanted to graduate with some money in my pocket. So like the last 6 months before I graduated, I went door to door on the weekends and after schools to sell newspaper subscriptions to the Sacramento Bee. And if I sold weekly ones, I would make $14. If I sold weekend ones, I would make $7. And
anything that's commission based is just
but a guy would pick us up from a truck, with a van. It would pick up like 8 of us kids, drop us off in a neighborhood in Sacramento, and then be like, "Cool, come back to me at this time." So it's like, just go, you take that street down, you take that street down, you go that street down, you go that street down, and it's like, come back here at 9 o'clock, and you would have to just snake your way through every street.
This sounds like a modern version of Oliver. Just with like newspaper subscriptions.
I mean, like I know. I was like, I'm getting pimped the fuck out.
I'm getting pimped.
And I definitely made like almost like a G, and then I was like, this is stupid. This is hard as shit.
Stupid.
And the only reason I got allured into doing it because the 2 guys that had been doing it at my school, they would walk around with like $400 to $600 every week, and I was like, what the fuck? I need to make that kind of money.
I need that.
And one of my friends who was like working at Tilly's at the time was like, Tom, don't do that shit. That shit's fucking ridiculous. And
Yeah.
then I just like didn't want. I was like stuck. I was stuck in that shit. So that was definitely the worst job because I'm just thinking of the heat. And I'm like, oh my god, I remember those summer days in Sacramento.
Yeah.
So hot, so fucking hot.
I think my worst job probably is my first job as well. My first job, I was working as I was like 15, maybe earlier, and my parents were like, you can get a summer job, that kind of thing. Just don't get locked in, because to them, high school and whatnot was really important to them. So I worked at the Pine Valley House. I was a dishwasher. And I think to this day, it's the reason why I have like such a disdain of doing the dishes, and like smelling dirty dishwater, like just makes me cringe to this day. It smells gross. And like I have scars from when I did it, like good night, Maba. Thanks for coming by. There was a night where the chef or the cook put a really hot plate, because they would put the plates in the oven, and he put it up on the shelf. And either A, I wasn't paying attention, or B, he didn't yell it out, or whatever. I grabbed that plate, and it was so hot. It burned like 3 of my fingers. I still have scars on one of them, but I just hated that job so much. And like it was in the kitchen, so it's like really hot, and you're just like, you're dirty all the time. You smell like chewed up food. Like it's just, ew. Next question.
Next question.
And minimum wage at the time was like 5 something. I think it was 5 something. And you're working like 5 hours, and like, it was the summer, so you could work until whenever the restaurant closed. Well, you'd be working anyway. Sorry. Just not
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, next question. Last question.
Next question is from T-Dog as well. What is the funnest job you've ever had?
Funnest job. I like what I do now. I feel like I have a job, but it's what I have slash titles, where it's like I'm an audio mixer, I'm a voice actor, and I'm a content creator. Like what I do now, like freelance sucks. It's hard to explain to people, like freelance, like what it is. Like people generally know it, like photographers and whatnot. I like what I do. Working on projects, like I'm on standby for a horror film to mix it and do it, and it's like, yeah, that not knowing, but I like it's fun to see a movie come along. And then like with acting, it's like that's fuels a part of my soul, and what we do here at Nerd On fuels a part of my soul. Is it hard sometimes? Yeah, but there's a general passion and happiness that I get from it.
Most fun job I've ever had. I'm gonna say, God, and I'm gonna restrict it in the sense of like something I put in for taxes. So I'm not gonna put Nerd On or any of the short films.
Well, I mean, technically you do have to put Nerd On in for taxes.
Yeah.
But
something I'm not getting income tax for.
Yeah.
I would probably say the most fun job I've had. It'd probably be a toss-up between this current one that I have now, working at a warehouse with a lot of props and stuff like that, where there's a lot of fringe benefits, not a lot of real benefits like an adult world, or doing social media for that dentist was pretty fun. The idea,
I
just the
remember
idea of
that.
it wasn't that
Yeah.
long lasting. It kind of sucked, not gonna lie, just because he was a complete prick, and very full of himself. Rightfully so. He was, quite well off for quote unquote a young dentist, living in Beverly Hills. I made over $40 an hour. But like it was one of those like, oh, I can have an
I'm
$80
sorry.
lunch. What?
the just something that you said is just rightfully so. Do you mean like it was
Like
right
he
for
has
him?
his own practice. He has a house on the Beverly Hills.
But that doesn't give
and
you that doesn't give you the right to be an asshole.
Well, like he was a prick, rightfully so, in the sense of like he's done a lot in his time.
Yeah.
And it's like Bruce Lee. He's a cocky asshole. You know why? Because he beat up a lot of motherfuckers, and no one
Yeah.
could beat him in a fight. Like if I could say I'm good by your age, I'll also have a thriving dental business. I won't.
I won't.
It's like he set out to do something and he succeeded very well, and it's like, yeah, I get why you fucking throw your weight around like that. um there is a sense of like, I'm not saying like, oh, everyone should be an asshole or anything like that, but it's just like makes sense
Yeah.
why you have an
Sorry,
inflated sense
I
of
cut you
ego.
off. That was rude. Anyway.
Yeah, I'll explain it. But yeah, I mean it was wild just because like, yeah, just it was the most amount of money I've ever made in my life, and then also just seeing a different, like it was just a whole different world, like living on that side or like working on that side of the hill in Los Angeles, and then seeing like, seeing fucking people like Dustin Hoffman and Christopher McQuarrie and Beyonce and Jay-Z, like as if it's a normal thing. Audrey, what's her face? Aubrey Plaza.
These are clients.
Just like like those were just normal people that you saw. You're like, okay, and Charlize Theron and like you were literally having lunch and eating next to people who were like, yeah, I make 60 grand a month, and you're like fucking god. And they just have a different mindset. They just live in a different world, and perspective is 100% like a thing you have to like weigh into, because you're kind of like, god damn, I fucking, I bust my ass and I work pretty hard and I don't get a quarter of what they do, but like, they fucking did X, Y, and Z, and they do all this other shit, and they do like following these motherfuckers around, like, and seeing the expos they have to do and all these like lectures and all these places they have to travel, and you're like, man, and then like expenses they get paid, and like the fact that like my valet service was $35 every day, and I can afford that. And I was like, oh my god, I'm just throwing money away.
Yeah.
And it's like, but
there are
that
certain
was just
things.
part
Yeah. There are certain things
that
that
was
when
just
you
part of it.
are able to, that you pay for, that you're like, I'm really lucky that I can do this. Do you know what I mean? Like there are certain things that I don't even mention that I'm able to do, that I'm just like, I'm really grateful that I can do this. Doesn't mean that I can do that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing where it's like, you could understand where people become tone deaf, where people are like, oh, sure, I'll spend like $400 for a gym membership, and I'm just like,
Oh.
I'll spend $40 for a gym membership. Thank
Yeah.
you very much. But like, it was that. And like, I had lunch meetings with people in places where it's like you have to have a membership card just to go in, and those membership cards are like $12,000 a year. I'm like, what the fuck is this place? Like, what is this world? So like, that was a fun little like experience I had. I would say like, it was fun in that way. But
it's a shift. Like, it's a shift. I always call it like a shift in consciousness, like a paradigm shift. Like I know people that, live in small towns and have never been anywhere. So their consciousness, their reference point for what the world has out there, it's like you have this, and then you move to a big city and you're like, oh shit, there's this. And then even as you're doing your life, you're like, oh, this is what's possible. And then you get a new job and then you're like, oh shoot, this is what's possible. And then you're like, people spend 12 grand on this thing? What?
Oh
okay.
yeah, no, I mean, there was times where the dude was literally like, I don't know if I should buy a new house over here or should I buy a yacht? And I was like, fucking Christ. And he's like, if I buy a yacht, it'll be really good for my firm because people will start seeing that I have a lot of assets. And I was like, fuck, that's just they're just playing in a different world. It's just in a different world.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the end of that question. That hedonistic, God,
hedonist
fucking
way.
forsaken time of my life. And I wasn't doing that much differently in life. It was just I was driving to Beverly Hills and I just saw
Yeah.
that world.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's all the questions,
That
baby.
is all the questions, everybody at home. Thank you so much. Seriously, we just don't know how to. Here's the post show. Because it's like we don't record this. We don't record this anymore, so why do the goodbyes twice, right? Right?
Maybe we're in the same world, Tom. We're just bad at succeeding by that metric. I mean, you could say, again, how well can a fish climb a tree? There's that way of thinking. But also, like, I remember there was one time there was someone I was, I guess, continuing
Yeah.
a little of the esoteric conversation of like wealth and success in the world. And Josh and I were talking a little bit about this before we started recording. LA, next to probably House of Cards level of game, LA is the most gamey game place in the fucking world. Like, you got to play the game, and
You have to play the game. You have to play the game.
And it is don't hate the player, hate the game. And it's like a lot of times like I hate both. I hate the players and I hate the game because this shit's hard. It's okay. I don't know what is Gamer Fuji talking about mud skippers. I have no idea what this is.
No one tell Tom about mud skippers.
I don't know. Is that Mudkip? Is that like the new Pokemon?
Nothing, Tom.
What is happening? What is happening?
No, I think it's the game. It's they fish that can climb trees. Oh, but there's like one kind of fish,
Hold on, let me see this cool ass fish mud skipper.
He needs to know. I need to know.
Oh my god, that's not a mud skipper. That's the monster from the Korean horror film called The Host.
Mud skipper.
That is a monster. That is a medieval monster that you buy at your local antique store, and they have ceramic art of that monster.
Oh my goodness.
That is an enemy type in Elden Ring.
It is. I think
that is not.
I am pretty sure. Yeah. I feel like they don't give you any really a good amount of runes. They just yeah.
And they spray that black dot shit, that toxic bullshit.
Oh, that gives you blight? Yeah, fuck those guys.
Yeah. Blight damage.
Oh yeah, geckos. Oh, fucking blight. Yeah, blight sucks. Blight sucks so hard.
It is, baby.
No,
but yeah, maybe you all just need to be mud skippers.
Emotional
damage. Gotti and I play together, and we're like, "Oh shit, there's geckos! Blight! What? Flame, heal me! Nope, that's not gonna work, dude." Anyway, no.
Blight.
Consciousness.
Yeah, no. Thank you for all the questions today, everyone.
Yeah, I'm always excited to have people here. You need the right balls, Josh. What?
It's true. They're not balls; they're boluses.
Boluses, yeah.
You need the boluses.
The boluses.
You need to be able to make them.
Yeah.
And oh man, I can't wait. Whenever I do a second run, it is kill all AIs. Kill every AI ever.
Gotti and I are playing with a seamless co-op. You basically you can continue your save, but it's a lot extra work, like kind of in back end in the file system. So we started a new save, and Josh about to change his name to playing Elden Ring. No, probably not. And we started a new save, and we accidentally pissed somebody off, and we're like, well, we're gonna have to get retribution for that, or whatever. The turtle where it's like, piss that person off. Oops.
Oh dude, did you give any of the no, I was like, spoilers for Elden Ring? I was like, did you give any of the eyeballs to the boy?
Oh, Deathroot?
Yeah, the Deathroot to that guy?
Yeah.
Did you get to the point where he got mad at you?
Yeah. Scared the shit out of me.
I'm like, what did I do? What did I do to piss him off?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I gave him a lot of Deathroot. Okay. That makes sense. Because I killed the gargoyle first, and then I walked in and he started attacking. I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't know I couldn't kill your guy.
Gotti, we pissed off Alexander, remember? I remember you were really sad about it.
Pissed off Alexander.
Yeah, we accidentally hit him after we were done talking to him. And they get mad at you.
Is Alexander the pot?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I haven't even finished his line, his story quest line, which I'm very upset. Which I'm like, I really like his storyline.
Yeah.
I barely finished Blades or Blods, whatever his fucking name is.
Dude, F that guy. But here's the thing.
It's not his fault.
I know it's not his fault. Here's the thing. I just think we should resign to not helping anybody. Because everybody we help,
people, they give you shit, but mostly everyone will come and try to kill you anyways.
Yeah. Like,
I mean,
I'm like, I don't know if you want to be friends with me. I'm just saying, things happen.
I mean, I'll tell you right now, I was, Thea, I'll marry her all day.
Yeah.
I'll carry that evil curse that she gives me every time she hugs me. I'm like, because she has to introduce death back into the world. Anyways,
that slow ass awkward hug. Can I embrace you?
I was like, yeah, it is hard. It is terrible out there. And then what's his stupid ass face with his armor killed her ass? I'm like, man, fuck this motherfucker. But then, did you fight that side boss?
Which side boss?
With Fia?
Yeah.
In the deathbed dream?
Oh God. That was.
I loved that. I
learned a valuable lesson with that boss.
And then the
dragon, the big ass dragon.
Right? Yeah, the time dragon.
Oh.
Well, there's so in her thing is a dragon, and then the time dragon in Farum Azula.
Yeah. No, I started the Plasudex one in Farum Azula. Nah, brah. Nah.
Oh, I love that fight. That was one of my favorite fights.
And then the first dragon, I learned a valuable lesson. I was down to like, just swing through. Just keep swinging. You got no health? That's fine. Just keep. The bleed might set in. The bleed, you know. Oh,
if you
goodness.
If you do a bleed build, yeah, I think all the dragon fights are probably my favorite fights. So Placidux was pretty cool in Farum Azula, but then the Lich Dragon in Fia's deathbed dream was like, I loved it because I was like, oh, enter the deathbed, sure. And then I was like, just dragging, like, oh my God,
yeah.
How do I get out
Are
of
you
here?
sure you want to confirm that message? Are you sure?
I loved that. I loved it, and also that feeling of like, I can't get out. I can't leave this place until I kill her. This sucks. This sucks a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I loved that. That was amazing.
Yeah, I'm on my retail save. I'm in Farum Azula, and I think I can either go fight the Beast Man. There's also the dragon. I can go. I'm at the fork where I can either go. Okay, you go over there, and you can lie down, and you can wait for the draggy boy, or you can go that way. But if you go that way, you're gonna change some stuff.
Well, I had to go back and fight the dragon when I got stuck on Millennia.
Oh man, Millennia. Oh my God.
Because she was just too hard. She was just like, I was like, I don't know in this build if it's possible. And I saw so many people were like, how to beat Millennia. Then I'm like, you're not using a mage build. I was like, mage build Millennia. And I was like, okay, they use these 3 spells.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I actually felt like I had actually had like a life accomplishment when I beat her.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was almost I was on Discord with Gotti, and I was almost silent. She died, and I was like, I did it. It's like, you what? How are you not like bigger about this? Like, I was just like, I don't, what? I did it. Oh my gosh. I did it. It was so quiet.
Well, I mean, and I like, and that's the thing. Oh man, like, you know, again, I think to your point, you know, like how Evangelion was, or Watchmen was for me. Like Elden Ring, I don't know. I feel like it might have ruined
changed
video
me.
games for you.
It's
like,
changed me.
I mean, but like, Like wasn't it the most like earned feeling you've had like beating a boss? Like you could train so hard, and level up your guys so much, and it won't matter because you know why? When they hit you, they gain your life, and you're like, oh my god, I could do so much damage, and they hit me twice, then they gain it all back, and you're just like, I don't know how else to beat. I just have to really get good, scrub, and then you get good, scrub, and then you
Well,
beat
you
them, and you're
learn
like,
all the different mechanics. You learn like, oh, okay, maybe I should be going this way, or maybe I should be
but
using this, or
but isn't that like the wonderful thing about like, and to me again, this is like what a true video game's supposed to do, where like most video games like, yeah, if you just cheese the game, then you'll beat it, and like you just don't learn good mechanics, you don't get better at the game, you don't get a lot of insight, you don't have these moments where you're just like, holy shit, like that was such a crazy fight, I hated it, but oh my god, I feel so accomplished from it,
what I thought was very interesting is that, especially for Millennia, I haven't used collaborators very much, except for obviously Gotti. But Millennia, I'd set my finger out, and I'd call on some collaborators, and it was very interesting to watch. Every single player had a different way of fighting her, and I just thought that was so damn interesting. It's just so cool that it's like a lot of games you're either this build, you're this build, or this build, where it's like, no, people are using different skills, they got different armor on, and all the armor has a certain use, or like why you have it equipped, because your equip load matters. So it's like things that you have on, it matters.
Yeah, no, I mean that's where I would say like where Elden Ring, it just really accomplishes a level of like expression of the player to like kind of just play the game how they want to play, versus like story driven games like Last of Us or Uncharted, where you're playing those characters and you're learning about those characters and you're getting told a really good story. Or like Elden Ring, you're like, I am getting to express myself in this world, in this open, vast treasure trove of experiences in the way that I want to do it. If I was in this world, who would I want to be and how would I want to do it? And there is an answer. You can find an answer of what you're doing, how you're doing it, how you want to play the game. Is this going to be different than other people's? And that's such a cool thing because everyone else is going to have a different experience in that game. And that's, what I would hope that people got from most artistic experiences, that it's never just like, well, this is it, if you don't get this, then you're not doing it right, where it's like this game allows you to say all the ways are the right way.
I know that you said it jokingly, but it is like that, where this game might have ruined me for video games, because I've been thinking about that thing that you said, that it's like you have no understanding or patience for spending the money on a video game and getting a poor experience. Like I paid $60 for Elden Ring. Is that how much it was? I don't.
Yeah. Did you have to buy any DLCs?
No. And I'm like,
did you have to wait for any patches?
Did I have to wait
the game
until
so it's playable?
We played Back 4 Blood a few nights ago, and we were like, shit, is this playable now? It's like, oh my god, it's playable, and it's oh, this is interesting. That game came out in October.
Yeah, and there was no like, hey, fuck you, give us all your money edition, where it was like $120 for like the CD.
Yeah.
Or for like the soundtrack, and you have like, here's this fucking item that you can get that no one else has. That's a piece of shit, and it's a collector's item.
Yeah, I have like 250 hours or whatnot in Elden Ring, and sometimes it's just like exploring. Like there are some times where I'm just exploring on the horse, and I'm like, this is cool. This is really cool. There are on this playthrough that we're doing, there are parts of the map that I haven't been to. I'm like, whoa, I never went over here. This is over here? This is cool. I found a new boss that we didn't even know was there. We're like, and it's not even really a boss. Like I looked up like lists and whatnot. It's like, it's just the fucking golem. It's just laying there. And you can fight him if you want.
And but I mean, that's the thing. If you do decide to go backwards and play any of the other From Software games, they're not going to be open world, so you may not get the same amount of enjoyment you're getting now, but you will get that challenge, and you will see like, I mean, we'll talk about it another way, but like you will see like that level of difficulty, and you're like, huh, and that's why you're like, if games make sense in their difficulty levels, and then some games that don't, like right now I'm playing Fallen Order, and you could change the difficulty levels. Oh my god, that just fucking sucks ass. Like the inflated level of difficulty in certain games, and you're like, they try to make it feel like a From Software game, and you're like, this is just stupid. This just sucks. This doesn't feel like Elden Ring feels so fair when you fight, because you're like, like when you attack, they respond or they don't respond. You could stun them, you can block away, you could run, you could always dodge, you could always block. In other games, it's like you have to have lightning fast reflexes or just memorize the gameplay, and you're like, this is such an artificial sense of difficulty.
Yeah, I mean, Elden Ring,
where...
it pushes your brain. It pushes your brain. Like, it's like you can learn the mechanics of a boss in a sense of like, if I see them do this, they're probably going to do this. This is going to be the move that they're setting up for. Oh shit, I need to roll into that. I need to roll away. I need to run like hell. Whatever. It's like but it's different every single time. I had playthroughs of like specifically Millennia where it was like, what's everybody talking about? This is easy. Oh no, I was wrong. I was so wrong. You know? But Elden
we can go
Ring,
on
yeah.
and on,
Yeah,
but
we
then
can.
we'll actually become a podcast.
So then we're going to do, thank you for listening to our Elden Ring episode of Nerd on the Podcast. Micropod. The only mechanic I wish FromSoft games added would be more interactive giant monsters similar to Monster Hunter. Like being able to see them grow weaker or break
seeing
parts.
different monsters in Monster Hunter fight each other. That's really cool. You can like kite them to each other.
Yeah. Well, everybody, that has been the Nerd On Update and then some. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We are here every Monday night starting 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, technically a little bit before, just to give some people some time to trickle in. But yeah, hang out throughout the week. Tom's here on Thursdays. I'm still trying to form my schedule to get on every week. At least I really want to move towards twice a week, but Josh just get once. Check out our website, nerdon.tv. It has all of the information on everything that we do. Everything. All of our podcast episodes are there. Our podcast episodes are video on our YouTube, and sometimes there's other content on YouTube. Do consider joining that Nerd On Nation. We've talked about it many times before, and we will always talk about it because it's a great community, but it also lets us continue to do this that we are doing right now. Keep the lights on, keep all the stuff going, and it allows us to think about other things that we can make. But yeah, did you find somebody to raid?
No, I did not. Hold on. But also, everyone that's watching, if you're on Patreon, check out the Patreon right now. There are 2 spanking new videos that you can check out. We're going to go ahead and raid over to Swing Point.
It's spanking time!
At the game. I'll hit the start the raid now. So, sing us out, Josh.
Yeah, everybody home, thank you so much. We heart you. Take care of yourselves this week. We will see you next week or see you sooner. We don't know. But yeah, you know the drill. As always.
That's a big puss.
Nerd on.
Nerd on.